Hi, my name is Justin, aka Ghost Reader, and today I'm going to be doing my August TBR. But before I get into my TBR, in June I read a book called Sharing a House with a Never Ending Man 15 Years at Studio Ghibli by Steve Alpert. And I said I was going to go and watch Studio Ghibli movies. And I threw it out there on Twitter like, hey, maybe if I, wanted to talk about, my experience, with watching these movies for the first time, would you guys be interested? And some of you were like, yeah, sure. So what I did is instead of doing it in video format, I actually made a podcast where I talk about my thoughts on watching these movies for the first time. So it's called Experiencing Ghibli. I released the first episode on Sunday, so the first episode is out now. You can listen to it wherever your favorite podcast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I will put links down in the description box below where you can find it. So if you're interested in that, that's where you can find. That's where you can find it. So with that being said, let's get into what I'm going to be reading for the month of August. So the first book is Veritas, a horror professor, a con man, and the Gospel of Jesus' Wife by Ariel Sabar. And this book is about basically the story surrounding this hoax that was, this forgery that was discovered about a gospel claiming that Jesus had a wife. And it talks about the Harvard professor that was duped by this forgery and possibly the con men that set all this into motion. I'm in the middle of reading this now, and it started out one way and took a very interesting turn there towards the middle. So it's been a very exciting read, finding out about the professor who announced this about the con man, or at least I'm not sure if this is the person, but everything's pointing to this guy in the book so far. So very good book. Going to be, of course, I'll actually be doing a review for this book and be coming out in a couple of weeks. Another book that I'm going to be doing a review for, and I'm very excited to be reading this, is called Dominion. It's an anthology of speculative fiction from African and the African diaspora. And it's edited by Zelda Knight and Pekka Donald. And when I saw this advertised on Twitter, I was like, I got to get approved for this on NetGalley. When I requested it, and I got approved for it. So basically, this is a book of short stories by people who are African or in the African diaspora. And I've started reading it, and it's good so far. So this is one that I will also be reviewing. So keep an eye out for that review. Next is Skywatchers by Carrie Akros, and this is a book from Penguin Teen, and basically the group of teenagers are living in the Cold War era, which, there's a lot of fear going on about the Soviet Union here in the United States, and these teens get together and decide that make a club that's going to watch the skies for Soviet threats, and instead they come into contact with UFOs, and that's what this book is about, and their adventures with that. So I'll be reviewing this book as well, so if you're interested in that, you can keep an eye out for that as well. Next is actually the first audiobook that I've gotten approved for from NetGalley, and it's the only one so far, but and that's Raybearer by Jordan Ifweko. I had not heard of this book before I went looking at the audio books for NetGalley, and this one sounded like the best one, so that's why I requested it. Didn't think I would get it, but I got it. So basically, the main character of this book, I think her name is, I forget her name, but basically she is sent by her mother, the lady, to the capital to be tested to see if she's going to be part of this council, which is the members of this council are bonded together by a bond that's stronger than blood. However, her mother, the lady, has actually sent her there with a mission to kill the crown prince against her will. So there's, I think, some type of magic that's going to force her to do that once she gets the crown prince confidence. And the story is about the protagonist trying to find a way to not do that. So I thought that sounded pretty interesting. So I will also be doing a review for this one as well. So yeah, a lot of these books I'm actually going to be putting dedicated reviews out for. Next is not a book that I'll be reviewing, but I picked it up because I'm going to be reviewing its sequel in the coming months, and that is Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chosky. And I was approved for Silver Serpents, I believe it's called, so I'll be reviewing that probably in September, I believe. And basically, this book is the first book in the series about a group of I'm gonna artifact hunters. I think you can guess, but they're basically this one guy is named Severin, and he wants to get back in the good graces of this group of people that believe they're called forgers. Get his family back into, or at least revive his family's reputation, or at least get back his family's wealth. And he's put together this team that's going to help him hunt down this artifact that he needs in order to do that. I think he gets caught along the way, if I'm not mistaken, and he is forced to do this job for I think it's called the Order of Babel. I'm still kind of fuzzy on the details of the synopsis, mainly because I kind of wanted to go into this a little blind. I got a little of the synopsis, but kind of wanted to go into this a little blind, but because somehow with all the buzz about this on booktube, I still had no idea what it was actually about. But yeah, so far I think this, from a little of the synopsis that I read, I think it'll be a exciting read, and I hope it's good enough that I will want to read the sequel, because I'm on the hook for a review for it. So next, I'm going to be reading The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I recently got this book. I got it, I think, like last month. I had the third book in the series for a while now, but this was a book that I wanted to get to. And I'm reading this for a buddy read with a couple people from the Unfriendly Black Hotties book club. And I'm almost done, actually. I have like maybe 100 or 50 pages left in the book. And it's really good so far. Finally, I'm glad that some people in the Unfriendly Black Hotties decided to actually start reading this, because I never would have got around to it. But I'm really glad to get into this. It's been on my shelf. I wanted to get to it, to read some sci-fi, because I definitely wanted to add more sci-fi into my monthly reading. So that definitely this definitely fits in for that. So it's really good. If you haven't read The Fifth Season and you're interested in sci-fi, I say seriously pick it up. And it's written in second person, which is actually a point of view that I like. I've only read it in one other book so far, and that book was absolutely amazing. I forget the name of it now. What was it? How to Become Filthy Rich in Rising East Asia, I think it was. And that was a great book. But I like it the second person point of view in this book as well. So great book, and world building is absolutely excellent. Next, I didn't get to the Dragon Republic in last month, so I will be hopefully get to it this month, because I want to get to read this before the third book comes out. So the next book I'm going to be reading is Mechanicum. That's by Graham McNeil. This is part of the Warhammer 40k universe. And this book describes basically the creation of the Dark Mechanicum, which is the part of the Mechanicum that basically follows Horus into heresy. So I guess this book looks at that splinter and how it happened. So I'm very interested in this. The book that I read last month was about the Titans, that are these machines that are used as war machines in this universe. And the Mechanicus has a very plays a large part in the maintaining and use of those Titans. So it's very interesting after reading Titan Death, which I'm also going to be doing a review for. You should see that maybe the video after this one, I believe. After seeing the Titans and the way the Mechanicum works, to see how the Mechanicum, I think it's the Mechanicum, basically how that split forms, to see some go away to the heresy and then some stay loyal to the Emperor. So that's that. And then last but not least, I'm going to be reading the second volume of Seven to Eternity, by The Ballad of Betrayal by Rick Remender. And let me say that this I'm going to talk about the first volume in my July wrap-up, which is going to be coming soon. But just to say that it was good enough for me to pick up the second volume. So the second volume picks up where the first one left off. And basically, they have captured the Mud King, and now they are trying to get him to a place where he can be fully depowered. So will the group make it there? That's what this second volume is about. So I'm really looking forward to reading it, because the first volume was good. So that is it for my August TBR. This is going to be the first of 2 TBRs that I have for this month. I will be releasing another one next week. That's going to be my TBR for the History Reading Challenge. If you don't know about that, I will place a card up here where you can click to learn more about that. Basically, we are encouraging people to read more history. So in 2 weeks, last 2 weeks of August, from the 17th to the 30th, we will be reading at least one history book, and there's also like a bingo card with prompts that you can join in and try to read some of those prompts. So yeah, the only requirement is that you read one history book, and if you want to, if that book hits some of the things on that prompt, awesome. So and some people have already released their TBRs, and I'll be going and watching and commenting on those. So that is it for this TBR. Let me know down in the comment section below what is your most anticipated read for the month of August. You can find me, of course, on Twitter at GhostReads28, on Instagram at Justin the Ghost Reader, which I've actually have been using, and also on Goodreads. The link to that is down in the description box below. And don't forget, you can check out some of my thoughts on Studio Ghibli's movies. That is also down in the comment section below. It's called Experiencing Ghibli. So that is it for this video. As always, keep reading, and Black Lives Matter.